Right.
What's good, my peoples? It's your
on?
boy Tito Hustles. I know that I haven't been making videos like that lately, but your boy is officially back today, and we have a special guest today, which I will introduce in a few seconds. Guys, we're gonna be talking about the Footlocker business, like the whole thing, like how is it to work there? How does the backdooring works? The whole reselling thing, like what does Footlocker really do, right? So we have a special guest today. His name is Jason. Shout out to Jason for spending some time and educating the people. Guys, don't forget, we do this for the people. So please do me a favor. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Gods can finally bless my channel. Quick question, Jason. Can the people follow you on social media? You know,
Absolutely.
like I know that you clean sneakers. If you want to take this time to just, promote your business.
Basically, long story short, the reason why I'm here is just to kind of educate you guys more on the business itself, whether it's the pros, the cons, whether it's reselling, whether it's how interview processing goes, anything, and this is what we're going to talk about today, but also the importance of just understanding what we're getting ourselves into when we go into a Footlocker store, whether it's a Footlocker, Champs, JD, whatever it is. But yes, if anybody does want to hit me up, you can follow me on Instagram _Jason95. I do clean sneakers. It's also Jason _clean kicks. So just let me know if you guys want to ever need help with anything, whether it's cleaning a shoe, any education on the actual business itself. But this is what we're going to get into today. So this is what we're doing.
Jason, just a quick question, just for the people can really get to know you a little bit. First of all, what is your Instagram? If I can type it in.
Spell
it out for me.
My Instagram is _Jason.
Hold on, brother. I'm not that smart. Okay, you said Jason?
Yes, sir. _Jason95.
That's it?
That's it.
All
Simple as can be.
And
come on.
What's your sneaker cleaning page? Or
my
your
sneaker cleaning page is J _clean kicks.
J _clean kicks. Kicks with a Z or with a S?
It's going to be with a S.
All right. Tell me if it's spelled correctly. Oh, I put a Z.
Yeah, that is definitely
I'm like
right.
the worst speller, so.
No, you're
Jay,
good. Yes, sir,
let's get talking about this business, right?
Yes,
Jay,
sir.
Where are you from and what are your hobbies?
So, originally from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I was born there. I moved to New Jersey very shortly after that. Been in Jersey ever since. Long story short, when it comes to the whole sneaker business is what I love. I love being able to interact with customers when I was at Footlocker. I love the fact that I'm being able to share my information, being able to share my experience, and being able to, like I said, educate you guys, because this is the whole point of this video, is to educate and to make people realize and understand the ins and outs of this business. So hobby-wise, I just like to go outside. I'm a simple guy. I like to go out and have a good time with friends. I like to do different things. I don't like to do the same thing over and over again because, like I said, you only got one life to live. So if you live it right, then one time is enough. But this is what we're going to be doing for you guys today. I feel like it's long overdue. I feel like a lot of people have probably had a lot of questions about this. So if I can be able to educate and be able to explain as much as I can, then hopefully you guys will get a better understanding of the questions that you may have. So I just want to let y'all know I appreciate whoever gets the time to listen to this. And yeah.
Thank you, Jay, for explaining that. Let's get right into it. Why Footlocker, Jay? There's so many jobs out there. What made you want to work at Footlocker, and what year did you start working at Footlocker?
So what made me want to do it was just because of the fact that I felt like I already had a love for sneakers. It's just I didn't have like a lot of shoes at the time, but I already had an idea of certain shoes, whether it was a Retro 4 or Retro 1, an Air Max. It doesn't matter. Like I had a little bit of an education on it already, so I just felt like why not get the dice rolling and let's just get this damn thing going. But when I first started in the company, it was in January of 2017. I did this for about over 5.5 years.
Wow.
So we've done a lot of good things. I did a lot of good things. I've seen a lot. I've seen some good, some bad.
So I see that you said that you wanted to work for Footlocker because you like sneakers. Now, I feel like the people now are just trying to work in Footlocker because they're trying to resell sneakers. You were not a reseller prior to going into Footlocker. Like you just wanted to work there just because you like sneakers, right?
Right. I was just a regular guy. I came in there with the one goal in mind, was to just make money and to just try to save up and to provide for a family that I cared so dearly about. But when you start to kind of work there for a little while, you start to realize, okay, like, oh, that shoe's coming out, so that shoe's hot. Oh man, like I haven't had a pair of those yet. It's just regular emotion towards a shoe because you genuinely look at it in the beginning, you say it's just a shoe that I like, I want it. But then as the time goes by, you know, we've been here for about 2 years. It took me 2 years to get into this little reselling thing, you know,
Really?
getting into the nitty gritty of trying to make a dollar. You know what I'm saying? And what people don't understand is that time is money. You know, like people get this assumption that, well, I work at Footlocker, so I'm making money. No, you're not. You're not making enough money, because at the end of the day, you're just dealing with customers in the store and you're just selling the shoes that they want. But to kind of use your thought process and say, okay, I work in a shoe store. We got retros coming out, or Yeezys or Dunks, God forbid, whatever shoe it was. I looked at every shoe as a dollar sign. And I think that's what you guys look at it as too. Because at the end of the day, what these people don't understand is that just like them, they're trying to provide for their families, but we do it in a way where we do it as in we need to provide for them. We hustle. We go out of our way to go from store to store. It's like we almost don't settle when we get told the word no. So with that being said, you know, like I didn't have a chance to really get into this whole reselling game until about 2.5 years after the fact that I was an employee. You know, long story short, I started off as part-time. I did part-time for 5 months, got promoted to full-time. I was literally only full-time for about a month and a half before I got a assistant manager position, which was my first store at East Brunswick Mall. Keep going every day. I think that I'll be a store manager in no time. And then that's exactly what happened about 2 years later. So, you know, other than that, I've had a good experience. You know, there was times where I wanted to quit. There was times where I didn't want to do it anymore, but I kept pushing because I already knew that, like, there's just so many shoes that come in, and it's just so hard to let that shit go.
And how much was the pay back when you first started?
When I first started, part-timers, it was commission based.
Commission.
It was
How much
commission based between 1% to 2%, and it was only at $8.62 an hour, because that was the minimum wage, back then. So part-timers was getting that. Full-timers, I would say at that time, was probably getting about like $12 an hour at that point. Wow. Because obviously, you know, times back then, everything was a little lower. So, you know, obviously, did I like the fact that I was getting $12 an hour as a full-timer at a Foot Locker? No, but the good thing was that Foot Locker still gave commission. And obviously, when you're full-time, you kind of do get first dibs on shoes. So that was kind of like my saving grace as to why I wanted to continue to do this when I was getting $12 an hour, which obviously, you know, it paid off.
So I know that the Foot Locker pay has changed since then. I think now it's just hourly, right, for part-timers. And I think, well, guys, also keep in mind, this is in the New Jersey area. So if you're in California and Florida, I don't know what those Foot Lockers are paying their workers. But if I'm correct, now Foot Locker is paying their part-timers $12 per hour, right? Or is it like
for part-timers, it's a minimum. So I believe that should be about
12 or 13.
$13 an hour.
Back when Jay first started, it was commission 1 or 2% and 8 something per hour. I feel like they got paid more back then. Of course. No?
Because now with a part-timer now, you're just a regular employee. It's just you walk in there and you make your $13 an hour and you go home. It's really about it. I mean, the only way you could really make money as a part-timer is if you basically put your hand up and say, listen, if you need me at another store this week, or if you need me to work extra hours, you know, it's kind of like you got to go out of your way to make sure you secure that. Because right now, you know, with us getting, like for part-timers getting 13, they don't get commission, but if they're a good worker and they put in the work, then that's where the rewards are at. And if you put in the work as a part-timer, then you're able to still get a sneaker down the road, you know. And obviously with how it works, it goes based off seniority, which means that the store manager always gets first dibs no matter what. So I used to work at a kid's store. It didn't matter. If I wanted the size, I was going to get it, you know, and it would go down from store manager to assistant manager to full-time to part-timers. So if, God forbid, you didn't have a full-timer in your store, it would just go from AM straight down to part-timers. But, you know, with that being said, I feel like back then with the commission, it gave us more incentive to want to do our jobs. It gave us more reason to want to push for the stock room to grab a shoe and be in and out as fast as possible. Because now with this new thing going on, and by the way, commission is no longer a thing, like I said, but also the employee discount has dropped as well for part-timers. So
how much was the employee discount back when you first started?
When I first started, it was at 500 as a limit, which means that
500 limit per month? Or
per month.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, I could buy a shoe for $100, but then if I swipe my card, I'm paying $70. So what that basically is telling you guys is that it's going to take $30 out of your discount balance, which means you would still have $470. So a lot of people get that fraction or that number confused because they don't realize what the balance of that card really means. So we were getting 500, and that was as a whole. It didn't matter if you were a DM. It didn't matter if you were a stock guy. It just didn't matter. That was the limit. Now, unfortunately, the company continues to I wouldn't say the word screw their associates, but they just
cutting
continue
down a
to
little
cut it
bit,
down,
yeah.
and it's just to the point where part-timers are now just getting only $250 as a discount limit for the month. So you cut that in half, no commission. You know, it's a lot, you know, and I think that's why a lot of part-timers were leaving, honestly.
I feel like Footlocker is trying to stop their own workers from like reselling shoes. But if I work for Footlocker, I would have to resell because the money that I make from Footlocker isn't enough for like me to survive. Bro, like if I'm going to work at Footlocker as a part-timer to get paid 13, 12 bucks per hour in New Jersey, it is not worth it. Now, maybe in Florida and Georgia, those slower states, maybe it's a little bit better. So I feel like, you know, and something that I did mention earlier, like I feel like the younger kids that are getting into Footlocker now are just trying to go there to resell sneakers. Guys, if you work at a store and if you see these guys coming into your store every single day and reselling your stuff that you get paid minimum wage for, it's gonna tempt me to resell those things too. So back to the whole employee discount thing. So back then was 500 limit per month and it was 30%.
Yes, sir. 30%.
Okay, so now it's 250 limit per month, and it's still 30%, or has that dropped?
30% still.
Okay. Next question. How was the interview process like? So, did somebody plug you into Footlocker, or you just got the you just applied and then they hired you? Like, how was the whole interview process like?
My experience was really just like a regular person just looking for a job. I mean, I walked in there that day with my brother and I was just saying, look, man, we need to get a job. I want to get a job. I want to get my hands and feet dirty and I just want to continue to work hard and I just want to just prove that I can do this. And, you know, obviously there was other jobs that I was interested at the time, but out of all the jobs, Foot Locker called me first. And by them calling me, it opened that door. And that's when I realized like, this is what I want to do. So, you know, they called me in. How the interview process basically works, even from 5.5 years ago, obviously you have to do it online. When you fill out the application, this is just advice for anybody. Just basically, if you apply to a job right away, just call right after and let them know that you finished the application, because what that does is it immediately
separates you from it shows them that you're
really on it. Like you're not like that one person who's going to be there for 2 months and then dip and slide. Like basically you're showing your face, you're calling because you really want the job. So that's kind of what I did. And I met a guy who, you know, he hired me, and the hiring process just basically was just put in the application. I was persistent. I had the interview. I literally walked in with a suit because I was so confident I was going to get this job. And when I got to the store, they all looked at me like I was some rich guy. And I basically was just like, no, I'm ready to work and I'm ready to put in this work. So, you know, interview went well. It was about 10, 15 minutes just asking questions and everything like that. They gave me notification that they'll look into it. But then right as soon as the interview was over, the manager just decides to come back and then offers me a job on the spot.
Was it a one-to-one interview or group interviews?
It was a one-to-one interview, but there was like 2 people in the room, so it was like both the managers.
Okay.
So they both interviewed me, and you know I could tell that they were looking at each other, and it just looked like there was like, yo, like this guy's got something. Like there's something about this dude that's different, you know. And they were even saying it in front of me. They said, yo, you know what there's something about you that draws a lot of questions and excitement because your personality is already on 1,000. Yeah. You know, the way you came in here dressing all up to par as if you're going to a dream job, you know. And I just told him, I said, whether it's a dream job or not, I still treat a job as an equal opportunity because it's time to make money.
What does Footlocker look for as in like workers? Like what type of workers are they looking for? Like, are they looking for like someone who has a high personality, someone who's outgoing?
When they're trying to hire workers, they're looking for people who are not in their shell. Like they're looking for people who are going to be able to be observant towards the customer, being able to talk, give feedback. They don't like people who are just kind of quiet, that just don't want to put in the work. Because at the end of the day, this is still a people job, and you have to understand that you're going to have to talk to people throughout the day. A customer asks you for a pair of shoes, like you're going to have to answer the question, you know, because at the end of the day, like if I go to a place and I'm not being talked to, I would turn the other way. So that's what they really embody. Like I give them credit where credit is due. Like they really, really try to get the right talent, and they just always do what they got to do to add from within, you know. So it's a good place to work if you haven't had experience in a retail business, because a lot of retail businesses is more just focused on mainly clothing. You could take example for like H&M, Hollister. You know, those are stores where you're dealing with clothing all day, and it's like when you close that store at night, you're never getting out of there until at least 2 hours after your shift is over because of the fact you got to pick up the slack. With Footlocker, it's kind of cool because what you guys do is just you work, and then as a team, you guys close the store, and as a team, you guys are able to get out at the right time. But you know, a lot of experience in this company, a lot of good times, you know, and I do have a lot of appreciation towards the company, but you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, were not always great, and that's just all part of the business. You know, you got to create a connection because what makes the difference between you and that next associate is the personality. You know, being able to say, hey, if you have any questions, I need, you know, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be able to help you, rather than a guy just walking in there and then you just say hi. You know, you have to be ready for it. You have to pretend that that customer is going to be the reason why you survive the next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them all that attention. You know, that's what they need, you know?
So quick question, right? So I like currently resell sneakers, right? So every time when I go into a Foot Locker, as soon as they find out that I resell sneakers, I feel like they treat me weird compared to if I was like a regular customer. Hey, how are you today? Welcome to Foot Locker. How can I help you? Blah, blah, blah. What is your thoughts on like sneaker reselling?
I mean, honestly, like at first I didn't like it, you know, because of basically what I was told from other associates, like all these resellers always come in and bother people. So obviously I had already gotten a negative feedback response from someone who didn't like resellers. So obviously I kind of went with that because a lot of the associates at the time and still now they don't really
like as soon as they see a sneaker reseller going into their store, like their whole mood changes. And it's kind of fucked up in a way because like I'm your main business, not this guy that's coming here to buy some shoes for his son that comes once a month. Like I'm coming there every day, every week, and I'm spending a lot of money to buy your shoes. And yes, I get it. And I see it like this, like if you're a Foot Locker worker and if there's somebody coming in and buying your merchandise, maybe they get a little jealous because these guys are reselling the stuff that I sell, right? But they make more money than me while I can't even buy some of this stuff, right? Because I know there's rules on like, okay, so like if a new Jordan is coming out, right? I think it's a structure, which what you mentioned earlier, that the store manager gets first dibs, then the assistant managers, then the full-timers, then
and then
the
part-timers at the dead last spot.
So part-timers like assume, or these young kids assume that they're going to go to Foot Locker and just get all of the shoes. And it's not really like that. Like there's like a process to it. Something else that I wanted to touch on real quick, back to the whole employee discount thing. I heard a rumor that you guys on some months get 50% off. Is that true?
Yes.
And is that for all the workers or just the like managers or the full-time?
No, that's for everybody.
Really? And on what months do you guys get that?
So usually they do it between 3 to 4 times a year. So when I first started, it was always like the 50, which meant that they call it employee appreciation. That's the real name or the real phrase. But we call it the 50 because we know what it's for. We know that we're spending 50% off on the product. Some things are labeled as QS already, which means quick strike, which means that you can't even use a discount on it, period, which means that even if you want to use 30%, you still can't.
Back to the word quick strike. Can you explain what quick strike means?
So quick strike is basically like an exclusion, which means that you cannot use your discount balance on that. So like, for example, like Retro 11s, Yeezys, like top tier shoes that have that label, which means that you just can't use your discount on. Now you could still get the shoe. You know, you could still have first dibs, but you would have to pay the retail like everybody else. But people are not going to complain because at the end of the day, if it's a cool gray 11, like they're still going to want that shoe, you know, and
for sure.
That's really how it goes with that. But it's a lot, you know, there's a lot. A lot of people tend to really enjoy it. They spend it with their families. Some people don't care about it. With me, I didn't really care about it because I never got the things that I ever wanted anyway from the 50. You know, if it was, God forbid, something for my family, my brother, friends, I would use it on them. And what I used to do is I would let people know that I was getting it for 30%, but I would know back in my head, in my mind, that I'm getting it for 50. So in today's world, you just got to be able to be smart and know that there's always money to be made. It's just a matter of how you go about making it. But the 50% offs, they're usually, we've done this about 6 times since I've been in this company.
6 times as in like once per year?
No, 6 times where I've had it like, you know, a 50 more than a couple of times, which means that in 6 years' time, I've probably gone through at least maybe about 30 50s in my time. So
And in what months do they normally give
They
the
usually
15?
start. You got one towards back to school.
So it should be coming up right now then.
Yeah, it should be coming up very shortly. And then you
and
have
is that a whole month, right?
no, it's only for a few days. So like
It's only for a few days.
it used to be for literally just the weekend, but then they changed it. So sometimes they'll do it for the week, sometimes they'll do it for a 3-day span. So it's always usually one of the two. But basically how it goes is if you're an employee in the store, you just got to swipe your discount card. If you're an employee at a different store, you shop at another store, you got to show them photo ID as well, because what happens is sometimes people will bring in like a different ID or a false card, and it's like they're trying to get more of a discount for themselves rather than doing it for the people that actually earned it. So. But yes, they have it a few times a year. You got one in back to school season. Okay. You got one in holiday, and then you have one in spring. Those are the three that are guaranteed. The fourth one that we had, there was one time during kind of like earlier after New Year's, excuse me. They gave us an extra 50% off because there was a lot of what's it called? Like business wasn't really looking good in a couple of stores. They wanted to implement it more, and they thought of like another way of saying, okay, let's give them an extra 50% off so more employees and people can just start buying stuff. The company's not stupid. It'll do whatever it needs to do to make the money.
Not bad, guys. 50% off makes me want to go work for Footlocker for like a couple months just so I can get that 50% off.
Just because of the fact that I was like, when I was an employee in the beginning and I heard about it, it was like a kid in a candy store. I was excited. I was able to get more stuff for the same price. So if I got 2 shirts, it's the price of 1. If I got 2 shoes, it's the price of 1. Everything was just splurged out.
Off the whole store, like secret cleaner, like everything.
Yeah, you can get a 50% off a cleaner. The only thing you really can't do during the 50 other than quick strike items is to order. You can't order in store.
Okay, you can't order in store.
So if I wanted to use my 50% or 30% to order in store, I can't do that. Now for the 30, yes, you can, but when it's a 50, you cannot.
You can't. Okay, I got you. Next question. Give me 3 pros and 3 cons about working at Footlocker. And start off with the 3 cons so we can get the bad stuff out the way first.
Cons is really, really simple. I mean, backdooring is the main thing.
Okay, speaking of backdooring, guys, we will touch on that subject, but that subject we'll save it for last. So stay tuned. We will be talking about backdooring, but that's going to be towards the end. Okay, but okay, next con. So
backdooring number 1. Number 2, sometimes it being hard to get promoted. Not to sound like this is not a personal attack towards women, but they tend to promote the females more than they do the males.
How so?
Because it depends. Like it could be like I had a DM. Obviously I won't say the name, but
of course.
Long story short, this person was promoting women who had already been fired and they came back as an assistant manager. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. Also, too, where, there was a girl who was doing maybe like minor hours as a sales lead and then they bump her right up to a store manager, So when I see those 2 things, like I could be grateful and happy that those people got promoted because at the end of the day, a promotion is always a great thing, But when you are working hard every day like myself and, you're not immediately getting that recognition, it kind of makes you feel a type of way. Am I doing my job the best way that I can do it? Am I upset because of the fact that I'm not getting promoted? Yes, but it's just a reminder that you got to push hard. But like I said, the guys, it's a little harder for us folks to get a promotion unless you're really that type of guy that all you do is just kind of, kiss ass type shit. Excuse my language, but that's really, really what you would have to do to get that promotion.
What's the third con?
The third con for me personally is false promises.
False promises.
They promised me a store like a long time ago, and I didn't hear anything from them for like another 6 months. So my thought process was like, damn, like I'm giving them my blood, sweat, and tears. I'm working hard. I'm showing up. I'm selling shoes. I'm doing everything under my job description, but I wasn't getting that time of day. And I obviously felt like you've already been doing this for a little while. Don't give up. It'll come your way. So I ended up becoming a store manager about a year after that. And it was a great experience. I was at the Kids Footlocker at Woodbridge, and we did a lot of good things over there. I really took charge. I was a rookie manager. I was crushing numbers. I was making my old store manager that hired me from 5.5 years ago look crazy and look bad on paper. And I was just killing it. I grew a really, really strong relationship with these people, and they really supported me from day one.
Good. Give me 3 pros about working at Footlocker.
Oh, the pros, obviously the discount. You can't ever like go wrong with getting a shoe for
50%.
cheaper than what it is. Especially if God forbid they're willing to pay the retail price, but then because you can get it for cheaper, it's kind of a benefit. So that's a pro. Sorry. Another pro is just when you do have the promotion and you are running a store, God forbid, as a store manager like I used to be, you get more of a say. Like you do get more of your own independence, and you could be a leader and make decisions on your own. But obviously, with the third one would just basically be where when I was a store manager for myself, I was getting at first it was hourly, and I thought that was a huge to do for me because obviously they only do it for commission, but obviously they found out, so I ended up getting commission, so I made a little bit less money. But a lot of good, like a couple pros, couple cons, but if there's the same amount of cons as pros, I'm gonna still give it a shot.
Next question. What advice do you have for somebody that's looking to work for Footlocker?
My advice is simple. Just push for it. Call when you finish the application. I would even go as far as showing up within the next 2 days after you do it, just because of the fact that, wow, they're taking me seriously, or this person needs this job because they're showing up all the time. Like, just assert yourself. Don't feel like because you don't know if you're gonna get the job that it's already over. No, show up to that job. That's exactly what I did.
Right, gotcha. Let's talk about sneaker reselling, right? So you said that you found out about sneaker reselling 2 years after working for Foot Locker.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, guys, for me, it was a little bit different. I kind of knew about reselling, but I wasn't really involved into it until I saw this documentary about Benjamin Kicks, 16-year-old kid, makes $1 million per year. Customers first.
Customers are first. It doesn't matter if it's a reseller or a regular customer. It doesn't matter. Like, whoever comes in, they're first. Right. And everybody needs to understand that that's an equal thing. There are a lot of these Foot Locker people go out of their way to say, well, the regular customers deserve to get treated first, or they deserve to get treated with the utmost. I don't think so, because if, God forbid, I'm a reseller, let's just say, and I'm buying this shoe, that one, you guys are going to make money off of it.
Yeah.
So because you're telling me no for the extra pair and you're going to give it to them, that's fine. They could take the pair, but you guys would be making more money with resellers. I'll just tell you that right now.
Yeah, for sure. Back to sneaker reselling. So I first saw it back when I was working at Woodbridge Mall, and I was working in those kiosks, and this was back in, I would say, October 2018, right? In that time, I was just fixing phones. I was selling phones. I was making a couple of YouTube videos. And at that time, I saw this Asian guy, right? This Chinese guy, like he was coming every single day. I would see him coming in the mall with nothing and then leaving out with like a hand truck full of shoes. So to me, I'm thinking, okay, he probably got them off the clearance rack for like 50% off, 30% off, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to resell it somewhere. But then, I kept seeing this guy coming every day, and I see him with these Jordan boxes. It's the black and gold for like Jordan mids and Jordan lows.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what really made me like interested. I was like, yo, so wait a minute, you can buy a shoe for retail and then you can resell it for more. And after that, I started to get more into the resale thing. But do you see yourself becoming like a full-time sneaker reseller, like in the future? Like, is that something that you would like to do? Or
I mean, it doesn't hurt, because at the end of the day, you're making money, and you're doing this where you gotta look at the positives before you look at the negatives. Like, when you're selling shoes out there, you're always gonna meet somebody. You don't know if you sell that one person to this one guy that really wanted, how close you guys can be. So when it comes to resellers, we have to use our peers sometimes for our advantage, which means that when it comes to myself, if I go to a store and I know that they got like 4 of these shoes right now, and I can get a pair because I'm by myself, I need 3 people with me at all times. I need people with me, and obviously we paid them off a little bit, but they have to be the ones to understand that, like, I'm trying to make money too. This is a business. It doesn't matter if it's if you're working at a restaurant, it doesn't matter if you're working at a deli, like it's a business at the end of the day. And people need to respect that, and people need to understand that, like, what we have is what we have. If we don't have it, it hurts us, because now we can't make money on the shoes that you guys want so desperately bad. But this has just been a huge learning experience for me. It's made me realize a lot. It's made me realize what I can and not put up with. And I still give credit where credit is due. Like, I still appreciate Foot Locker for them giving me an opportunity for all this time.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate it, because without them, I don't know where I'd be.
Speaking about Footlocker, right, and the whole reselling thing. Back when I started reselling sneakers, the mids and lows were 3 per customer. Now it's 1 per customer. But the real rule, the Footlocker rule, is that one person can buy up to 5 shoes. Is it up to 5?
Technically, it is up to 5. So what they do is they try to lower it down based off whether it's from a DM's information, whether it's just their own rules. But there's times where I've seen it. You know, Asian resellers come in, or any reseller comes in. Sometimes they'll walk out with a bag with 3 things, and here I am coming down with just nothing. You know, I say, hey, did you guys get that and ship it today? Like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That's the other thing, that this Footlocker, sometimes they just lie about what they have and what they don't have because they want to make money too. We all want to make money.
I see it like Footlocker doesn't like resellers, but like, I'm not trying to throw shade to Footlocker, but Footlocker does resell. They get it from Nike. Nike sends it to Footlocker, and then Footlocker resells it. So it's kind of weird that Footlocker doesn't like reseller when they resell too. Like, y'all don't make Nike products, Adidas products, Puma products. Y'all get them at a discounted price from these companies, and then you guys resell them. What was the first sneaker that you resold? How much did you make on it? What size?
I'm smiling because I feel like this happened yesterday. Like,
I'll tell you,
it kind of changed my life.
Mine.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, my
you?
first resale shoe was the satin ones that came out on Women's.
Hold on, the black ones.
Yeah.
Those
When they first dropped, and they were going for over $1,000.
$1,000, yeah.
So when somebody told me to get them, I was like, "Yo, I gotta get them," you know. And
so those came out for women. So what size in women was it?
It was a women's size 9, which is equivalent to like a men's 7.5 in men's, which is a great size.
And also, guys, in that time, the sneaker market was more based on small sizes. So a 7.5 in men was gold. You know, a 7.5 through like a 9.5 was the best sizes, right? You remember or no?
Yeah. So like the smaller sizes from back then were always like the top tier. Like if you don't get anything, if you don't get a size from 7.5 to like a 9.5, maybe even a 10, pushing it, but once you pass the size 10, like there was really much of a profit.
Right. And grade school was a 3.5 through 5.5. But now it's not like that. Now it's all based on the biggest. So men, like it would be like a 11.5, 11, 12. For women, like it would be like a 12 woman, 11 woman. Those are the best sizes. Grade school is like 6.5, 6 and 7. How much did you buy that shoe for? And how much did you resell it?
So the shoe itself was at $160. Yes.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it was at $160 for the retail price. I used my discount, paid 30%. I bought it for $112. So we ended up selling this shoe for about $1,085. And this shoe was going for a lot. And this only happened for a brief period of time because right now they're only worth a few hundred. If
market
that,
dropped a lot.
Yeah. So market went down on them, but so many people bought them when they were so expensive. So like people were paying more. But now, if you look at this shoe today, you probably get like $300, $400.
Let's check out the market right now. Let me go on StockX.
Satin one,
not the snakeskin. Oh, it's the it's the satin black toe.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a 9. Wow, dude, look at what.
And they've gone down so drastically. They used to be over $1,000 for these shoes. You know what I'm saying? I almost sold my pair for $1,100.
I gotta put my brightness lower. If you guys can see, this same shoe was reselling for $1,000. Now it's a size 9W. His size is $296. So somebody who was buying in back then that was getting those for like $800, $900, all those people lost money. They lost a lot of money. So that's something about like be careful on what shoes you're going to invest in. Now, at that time, the satin black toe, it seemed like a good investment. What do you think like messed up that shoe? Like, why do you think that the market dropped so much? I feel like the market just dropped because I think that shoe is too hyped. Like, you know, like it's not like a gold. It's not like a collab. It's not like a Travis Scott Supreme Jordan collab. I mean, it's a nice shoe, but it's just so weird how a shoe like that was literally going for $1,000, $900, and then it dropped so much. So it tells me that the shoe really wasn't all that.
The thing is that when a shoe goes that down, like with market pricing or anything, it's just because the shoe's not succeeding, in my opinion. I feel like it's not selling the way it should. And that's why nowadays and today, like you try to get a shoe and it's like a Pollen 1 or a Bordeaux, you're basically paying retail for it.
So there was something that happened in March of 2022, how Nike is pulling their products from Footlocker, right? What do you think about Nike pulling their products off of Footlocker, pulling some of their products?
I don't really like it because of the fact that obviously like that's a big part of the business is having Nike. But I understand why they're doing it, because they're making a lot of Nike outlet stores, so they want to make sure that they get it before we do. But still, I think we make enough money as a whole that we don't need it. But it would definitely be a lot better if we had it.
Do you think if Nike pulls all of their products for Footlocker, do you think that Footlocker will go out of business?
Absolutely. Because of the fact that, like, if you're pulling all these shoes out that people just so love the most, you're going to drive customers away, because now you're realizing, like, you don't have shit, or they don't have anything to get, so they have to go somewhere else. But if there's a lot of people who don't want to go to the other mall. What if the other mall is like 30 minutes away? They don't want to make that drive.
Now, something that I want to talk about, like Nike and Footlocker, I don't like the way that Footlocker like releases their shoes, and I'll tell you why, right? So each time that Nike is gonna drop something, like it's typically as soon as they open and their first come first serve every single time, right? Foot Locker doesn't really do it like that. Foot Locker chooses when they feel like dropping it. So it could be right now, it could be when they're DM. So since you worked at Foot Locker, right? Like, how does the whole like release on first come first shoes happen? Like, does Foot Locker have to get the okay from their district manager, or does the store manager make that call?
So it just really depends. Obviously you got to get a DM's approval nowadays to sell the shoe. That's always the given, unless it's like a shoe that's first come first serve. But the reason why they do that is because of an incident that happened a few years ago. I believe it was in California, where there was someone who was murdered at the Shoe Palace, I think, over there.
Okay.
And it was for a pair of shoes. So what that told us was basically like we shouldn't be holding shoes, like we shouldn't be what's it called, like holding on shoes, delaying anything. Like, just get rid of it when you can to make the money.
Let's talk about the backdoor plug. Now, you don't have to like say names, say stores, right? You were working at Foot Locker for 5.5 years. Can like you explain what a backdoor is to the people that don't really know about sneakers like that? Like, how exactly does the whole backdoor thing work?
I mean, backdooring is just basically it involves deceiving. It involves making sure that the person that you're looking out for is the one that gets it, rather than the community, rather than the crowd of people. So, like, when people backdoor, what they don't understand is that, like, by you doing that, you're not being honest with the staff, you're not being honest with other people, and that kind of could, give you some sort of a bad image if you do it to the point where you're only trying to benefit yourself, and that's really about it for that.
So, have you ever seen where like a shoe is gonna come out next month, and all those shoes get backdoored before they come out? Have you
Yeah,
ever
there's
seen
been
that
times
happen
where I
before?
walk into a store where they were just selling the last pairs of these shoes, and they were backdooring because the guy that talked to the dude, he was like, "Hey, my best friend, how you been?" That basically just means that you're letting them know that this is what we have, so you're gonna take it, the shoes. But when it comes to reselling too, like, you got to be smart with it too. You can't always go to every store and expect there to be a Jordan Low or a Retro High or a Dunk or a Yeezy, because sometimes you got to go through a little bit. Got to go to a couple stores and see who's got what.
So, all right. So, back when you first started working at Foot Locker, it was 2017. Now we're in 2022, right? The raffle was different, right? Because back then was like an in-store raffle. Then it changed to like a app raffle, right?
Yeah, so back then it was like a raffle where you get a ticket, and then you just go to the manager, they give you the ticket, you put your name and number, you give it to them, you keep the one copy, and then they call you, whether it's throughout the day or the next day, and they let you know if you won the shoe. If you win the shoe, you only have a certain period amount of time to pick up. Back then, when you won the shoe, you only had what's it called? Like, you only basically had until like a certain time in the afternoon to pick up the pair. So it was from opening to 3 o'clock. If you got there at 3:01, 3:05, 3:10, you was not getting the shoe, no matter what, or anything.
So now Foot Locker holds it for one full day. So if you win the Foot Locker raffle for tomorrow, Wednesday, August, blah blah blah, Foot Locker will hold it all day for you, and then on Thursday, those shoes will be first come first serve. Now, for those in-store raffles, those ticket raffles, how fair was it?
I mean, I felt like it was very fair, because how we picked it was just based off like who drew what first, and that's just from where I was at. I can't defend everybody in general, but from where I was at, it was always done the right way. We did raffles. We basically picked out names from a hat, and we would just go through like maybe 5 of those people who put in a reservation at the time. So if it lands on them, then that's the person who's going to make it to this part. If it didn't land on you, then that means you don't get anything. And I like the way we did that. We did a very good job of being able to pick and. We did it in a way where we pick and choose, but we did it in the right way. Took care of the community first, took care of the reseller second, and then even before any of that, we made sure we took care of ourselves. So.
I feel like some stores that are doing the in-store raffle right now, not Foot Locker, like I've seen Snipes do them, feel like it's not fair. I feel like some stores like pick who they want to win, and then that person, pays them something on the side. And me being a full-time sneaker reseller, it's normal. Like an in-store raffle, I wouldn't do them. You know, it's just your chances of winning are very unlikely. Like there's people that have been going to that store and they build a certain connection with that store to obtain these shoes. Like I've had certain cases where I go to these store raffles and the manager personally calls my phone number, like he personally knows me, or he just texts me like, "Hey, got you, I got you, C Dog." I was like, "All right, appreciate that." Back to the backdoor thing. So when you was the store manager at your Footlocker stores, have you ever been offered, like, have like resellers came up to you, "Hey, if you backdoor me, I'll tip you $50 per shoe"?
Yeah,
Has
of
that
course.
ever happened to you? Yeah.
Of course, it's happened a few times in my time. It's just that what they don't understand is that back then I didn't do it, but then God forbid, let's just say that there was times where people would reach out and be like, the most I would do is be like, "Hey, we have it in store right now, so if you come in, we have it, we'll take care of you." There were some people that God forbid I'd hold for in the past just because I knew that they never did anything wrong to me. They come in, they're very cordial, they're very respectful, so why not? And the store's got to make money real. Anyways, that's what resellers don't understand in that part, that we have to make money for our store too. So if you can give us the money for the shoes, great. But if not, someone else will get it.
Right, right. And how much would these resellers offer you?
Like $40, $20, $50 gift card.
That's 40 per shoe. Is that like
It depends.
40
Like,
for the
if it
whole
was like the
thing?
Panda Dunks, yeah, it was going to be 40 per shoe.
For Panda Dunk lows,
40
they were
per.
gonna offer you 40 per shoe.
40 per shoe.
And is that men, women, grade school?
Any size.
Any size,
Any
any
size.
gender. I mean, any, how do you call it? Like any, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, gender. So
Yeah.
anything, anyone that's got money, and that's the thing. Like when I see that, I see a whole bunch more of dollar signs, and I'm able to do what I got to do with what I need to get done. A lot of people say, "Oh, he's a reseller. Oh, he's no good." It's like I'm a human being just like everybody else. So it's to the point where if you make your money your way and I make it my way and we're both making money, there should be nothing to complain about.
Right. As a store manager, like how much does Footlocker pay?
As a store manager, you can get commission. I mean, not well. It used to be commission too, but they cut that out. So right now, you can get either hourly or you can get on your debit cards. But the thing is that if you're hourly, that's because of the fact that a lot of people that get hourly are the ones that apply earlier. I don't know why, but for me, I always had commission. It was always commission job.
I thought that the store manager was just salary.
At first, yeah. So when I first started, and I was
you-
a store manager, it was commission, and then we were getting our our hourly.
Okay.
So then after that, they changed it. They were focusing more on the bonus structure, and then obviously they're focusing on driving sales. So that's why they told us to focus more on the actual customers and train the associates, while the store managers, we do everything in the back. We get the paperwork done, we get the orders done, we get shipment done, stuff like that. So as a team, we're all working, but this company changes all the time, and a lot of people have come, a lot of people have gone. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen people get hurt at work. I've seen people sell at the job. I've even seen someone bring a shoe outside and bring it up to the to a store upstairs. Like I've seen it all. Trust me. Salary wise,
like,
it depends.
Is it 50 to 60? Is it 60?
Yeah,
to
about 50 to 60.
Year?
Depending on how long you've been in the company, depending on like what store you're at. So for me, I was getting about like 53,000 a year.
53,000 per year.
And I was at a kid store too, so.
Okay.
Regular store manager like at Woodbridge or Menlo, they're probably making like close to like 60, stuff like that.
60. Okay. Back when you was working at Footlocker, right? What's like the craziest thing that you've seen?
The worst thing I've seen is a drug deal in the store.
A drug deal in the store?
A drug deal. This was this is at this place in Ewing. It's called Capitol Plaza, and basically one time I was working there, and the guy brought in a chain, and the other guy brought in a knife, and the guy's going like this with the chain to make sure it's real. Because what they do is if you go like that with the knife, and the gold goes away, that means it's gold plated. So when he did it, it was gold plated. So the guy was like, "I'm not buying nothing from you," and the guy was carrying a knife too. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen at Footlocker.
A drug deal inside of your store.
And there was a drug deal, and then the people were still trying to sell like other stuff too, like the chains I was talking about. Like,
did you kick him out the store? I'm like, "Hey, sir," like,
I couldn't kick him out because where I was at was not a good area, so I didn't want to put myself out there and like make demands. And interrupt what they had going on, even though I should have and easily can, but I didn't want to get myself into a situation of getting hurt because they were like really looking crazy. Yeah, but I've been through a lot. You know, I've had a shoe thrown at me before.
A shoe thrown at you?
Yeah, a pair of Timberlands. Yeah,
a Timberland too.
Yeah, this is.
He was like, this shit.
I was like,
he was a
fuck
full
out
Matrix
here,
mode.
man. Like, I was like, no, man. But yeah, you know, they threw a pair of Timbs at me. He's like, go fetch, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm not doing no such thing.
That's funny.
You know, I don't care if you want the Timbs that bad, you could take them, because at the end of the day, I get to go home and sleep while you get to continue to be a freaking low life criminal.
Oh my god,
that's really about it.
Crazy. Is there any more backdoor questions that I haven't asked you yet? I feel like people really want to know about.
I mean, I feel like the worst backdoor situation I've seen was a whole box of shipment being just sold to a guy straight up in a store that was behind the counter. It was like a long time ago. It was like when I first became a store manager at Kids Footlocker at Woodbridge. I went to another store, and when I went there, it was behind the counter. They had like a whole size run of shoes. I forget what shoe it was to this day, but I know it was a high shoe because like obviously it was resellers in the store. And this one guy walks in, bro, and like literally takes them all.
Really?
Took them all. He came back in like a few minutes each time. So he would buy like 2, come back in 5 minutes, buy 2, come back in 5, buy 3, come back in 10. You know, he bought as many as he could, and it was a hot shoe. I forget what it was to this day, but he ended up spending at least well over like a couple grand.
Are you sure that guy wasn't me? I was coming in, and then I go out, and then I change my shirt, and then I go back, and then I put on a hat, and then I come back.
That's the thing. When people do that, like I kind of respect it because it's like you're going out of the way to make some extra money. Like if you really want the money that bad, you'll do whatever you can do to get it. You know, so right now, like today, I don't care. Like back then when I was like a new manager or I was like a AM and I didn't know anything about this shit, like of course I get mad because it's like, what are you guys doing? Why are you guys so desperate? You know, but then I put 2 and 2 together. It's like I need money too.
Yeah. The money is too good to pass up. So if the sneaker reseller is going to make money, of course, I'm going to help out the worker too for them making the whole situation easier for me. Sometimes I can go into one store and get 10, 15 pairs all in one shot and like not have to bring bodies with me. So you know how it is. It's 1 per customer. Sometimes if the store has 10 pairs, I would have to bring 10 bodies. But, you know, for some stores, if I have a good solid thing with them, I could just get all the shoes all in one shot. So, of course, if I'm going to eat, the worker has to eat too. You know, I eat, they eat, we all eat together.
And that's how it has to be because like people don't understand that like these people are the top of the pyramid. You know, they're like they're here and we're kind of beneath them a little bit, you know, which means that like, you know, it's up to them if they want to give it to us. You know, sometimes I go into a store and somebody tells me no and I come back 5 minutes later, they're being sold. You know, people just have to understand that, like, we all have families at the end of the day. We all got responsibilities. We got bills to pay. Like, we just want to make our money in that way. And I like it because you get to meet people. You get to interact with people. You get to know people. You get to introduce yourself quite often. You know, leave a good impression. Try to make friends. Try to be reasonable. Try to be nice. And when it comes to shoes, you don't ever have a problem.
Appreciate you, Jay. Appreciate you breaking it all down.
Man. It's just it's been a pleasure because, like, I never had a chance to really explain about all this stuff, you know. And now I get the chance to do it, and you know I feel good about it. You know,
facts. Is there something else that I maybe missed out that I didn't ask?
The only thing I'd like to really include is just that, like, long story short, like if you're looking for a nice retail job and it's just something of easiness, and it's like you know you feel like you don't have to put in too much effort other than just helping customers, I think Footlocker would be a good opportunity. Obviously, if you have manager experience, that does carry a long way. Like you bring that to the resume, you know, you can bring that or add that to the resume to secure that spot as becoming a manager. But it's a lot of good opportunity when you become a manager. You know, you get to know people, you can resell, you can add more to your pockets. You know, it's a little more easier to get shit done. You know, because of the priorities. You know, like because of me getting first dibs as a manager, that gives me more reason to sell stuff.
The higher position that you have at Footlocker, the more things that you can do. Right, the more power that you have, and the more money that you can make too, off Footlocker and off the reselling thing too. Right. Jay, I think that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you once again stopping by and educating the people.
I mean, I appreciate being able to explain my words. You know, sorry if I'm a little tired, but you know, this has just been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do this for a little while. You know, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you see this video and you learned something from it today, then that means we did our job. And, you know, this is what we wanted to do. You know, we want to give you guys some inside knowledge about it. So if you ever go to a store and they turn you down as fast as possible, that's because they actually have it. It's just in the back. So,
guys, it's very hard to cop from Footlocker now. I feel like everybody is getting backdoored. I feel like everyone's getting like bribed. Is it?
Yeah.
So basically,
I'll offer you $40 for a panda dunk, but then it's like you sell the panda dunk and then they expect more.
And it's like this, like if you work at Footlocker and if you have your go-to reseller who you help out, like why would you help out somebody else who's not paying you when a reseller is willing to pay you?
Right. It gives you more reason to want to do it, even though it's not part of the company guidelines. But it's like if I'm only getting a $300 check or $400 check as a part-timer, and the opportunity of being able to sell a dunk that's $100 and make $40 off of one pair, let alone maybe 2 or 3, it's amazing. It's easy money in the pockets,
I feel like the game has changed so much more now. Like I don't trust nothing that a Footlocker worker tells me. I don't know, guys. Like I've been doing this for like the last 3 to 4 years. Like I can tell when someone's being honest with me and when someone isn't. The Footlocker game, there's a lot of money to be made, but it's like a lot of headaches at first. Like you really have to get plugged in for you to actually start touching shoes. So if you're a new sneaker reseller and you're trying to get started, try to make a few friends that work at these retail stores: Footlocker, Snipes, Jimmy Jazz, DTLR, Kids Footlocker, and try to join like any Discord groups. I think that would help you out.
Discord's important because, like, if you know a group of people who do reselling like you could be at home one day just minding your business, but then you get a notification on your phone, hey, by the way, they got these here. That's just an easier way to make money.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is more of even a life lesson. If you're not making enemies, you're not making money. That's really about it. Because what you don't understand is these people don't like us resellers. These associates don't want to see us thrive. They don't want to see us succeed. They want to see us get turned down so that we can sell to the actual people who are going to want to buy them. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this: if I'm first come, or if it's first come first serve, and that little girl wants those shoes so bad and she wears a size 5 in kids, but yet I'm the first one there and they're number 2, I should be taking care of number 1 because of the fact that I was there prior to you. And that's what they don't like. They don't like us going in there every time trying to get all these shoes because they're like, well, what about everybody else? The thing is that I don't care about everybody else when it comes to making money. I need to make money.
Yeah.
If you make money over here, that's great, but I have to be the one to make the money so I can enjoy my time, so.
And back to what Jay said, how they don't want to see you winning. Kodak Black, they don't want to see you winning. They don't want to see you winning.
Yo.
There was something else that I was going to say, and then I think I lost it in thought. I was going to say something about reselling. Oh, I just started my own little sneaker Discord group chat. I'm kind of old school. Like, I don't like doing that in the past, but it's the new wave. So I recently started one, and I'm basically like trying to have people in the group chat. Like maybe there's one guy in North Jersey, there's one guy in East Jersey, one guy in West Jersey, and one guy in South Jersey. I'm trying to get all of the locations of Jersey in that group chat because like maybe something is coming up in North Jersey that we that live in South Jersey have no clue of, and
have no idea. So
yeah,
it's like
so
when you
it's
have
a good
sources
way
like that,
for you to help each other out, and it's very important to find good people. Like if you're gonna start these group chats, find people who are willing to go out there and get a new connect, that are willing to ask about what shoe is gonna come out, and are willing to put in the work. So I'm kind of new to this thing too, but I see it as it's a way for we can all help each other out. Now, if like I need a trade, then I'll go ask the group chat to see if maybe they can help me out to trade, or if I'm looking for a particular shoe, I also put it in the group chat. And if somebody has it, then they'll see, they'll try to trade with me. Or is there anything else that you would like to add, or are we gonna jet blue?
Nah,
JetBlue.
There's nothing there.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and
Yes,
stay
sir.
tuned for upcoming videos. There will be more content, guys, and don't forget, we do this for the people. Without you guys, we would not be here. So make sure you guys show your support. Just give me a like and subscribe. That really goes a long way. And have a great day, guys, and follow me through my TikTok. I just created a TikTok. It's Tito.hustles. Follow me through my Instagram, Tito.hustles, and my business page. I'm sorry, my business page.
My business, handling the business.
Kicks, Titos, Kicks, 2 S's after Kicks. And yeah, guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.